All right, what's up, guys? 2018, we made it. Good job. You stayed alive over the winter break. Glad to see all of you guys here. But as we saw from that video, truth, which is what we're talking about today, can be a little deceptive, right? Sometimes it's hard to know what's true. In fact, let's play two truths and a lie real quick with me. Here are three quote-unquote facts about me. Which one do you guys think is the lie? My favorite fruit is not an apple. But I did fail my driver's permit, and I don't drink caffeine. So I don't drink anything with caffeine in it. And so this series is called Think More. It's about us using our brains, but it's also about what we allow up here. Because what we allow up here dictates how we treat others and how we treat ourselves. And so when it comes to the truth, we have to understand what's true, what's not true, how it impacts our lives. So that's what we're talking about today. The funny thing is, truth, that word actually has three different definitions in the dictionary, which I thought was a little weird. Here's the first one. The quality or state of being true. That makes sense. I love it when they use the word in the definition of the word too. Number two, that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. That makes sense too. All right, the third one. Here's the one we're mainly going to be focusing on. Here's an accepted definition of truth. A fact or belief that is accepted as true. Now you might look at that and be like, that sounds fine. Some of you might believe that that's fine. But think about that statement. Something that is just accepted as true, is it really true? If a lot of people just accept something, does that make something true? We'll talk about that a little bit today. I'm going to be asking you guys a lot of questions today because there are two types of truths that come into our lives. Here's the first one. Objective truth. Second one is subjective truth. So objective truth, something true in all cultures, no matter if they recognize it as true or not. So that means that, there's a sure thing that everybody recognizes. People need water to live. The sun is 96.92 million miles away. Nobody really argues against those. What they do argue against are subjective truths. Let's talk about those. What a subjective truth is something believed to be true for some, but not necessarily for others. Like, for instance, some people think that it's cold in here. Who thinks that it's cold in here? Not everybody. Who thinks the Star Wars The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie ever? One person. Yeah. I really liked it, but it's still at least number 4 for me. But the question is, how can you tell if something is true? Because there are a lot of different things and truths that are thrown our way. So we need the tools to be able to distinguish between the real and the fake. So let's talk about this. The source is usually what helps us distinguish between real news and fake news. You guys have probably seen on Twitter or Instagram or even Snapchat sometimes as they run with a story that a celebrity died or something, but then they actually didn't die. There was another, I probably scared some people Betty White, no. But Betty White dies, it's the wrong kind of dye, so she dyes her hair. She dyes her hair peacefully in her home in Los Angeles. There's a lot of times where you have to question, where did this article come from? And it comes from a news source that's not necessarily legitimate. So a lot of the times when there's truth thrown out there, you have to look to the source. And that truly helps you understand what is right, what is wrong, what is true, and what is not. The second question we have to ask ourselves is, do you create your own reality? And I'm asking very deep questions right now. But it's to get you to think about what the answer is, because most world religions and world philosophies, they try to answer this question. Like, what is real? What is actual? What is reality? Buddha, he said, what you dwell upon, you become. Jesus said, according to your faith, let it be done. In the Talmud, which is a Jewish text, which I'm not Jewish, but this is pretty cool. It says, we do not see things as they are. We see them as we are. So think about that. We do not see things as they are. We see them as we are. So in a lot of different ways, we project ourselves onto the truths that we see. And so we choose to accept certain truths. We choose not to accept certain truths. But that kind of makes us who we are. You, at the end of the day, have to decide what you believe. Nobody can tell you what you believe but you. Last question we have to ask ourselves. Can opinions become true? I think you guys are old enough to understand the difference between like an opinion and a truth, right? But sometimes the line gets blurred so much in our lives that something that's said over and over and over again can become a truth for us. When's the last time you said, I love you? Yeah. Maybe you said it to your friend. Maybe you said it to your mom on the phone. I know that for me, that's how I end a phone conversation sometimes. It's like, okay, I love you, bye. Then I hang it up. And I accidentally say it to the wrong person sometimes, and it's a little awkward. But this phrase, it can be used over and over and over again. So objective truth can be thrown out the window. We have to remember what is objective, what is subjective, and what we choose to dwell on in our minds determines who we become as people, because objective truth can be thrown out the window if we're not careful. And that's something that you need to fight for. So as we close today, guys, I want to encourage you to dwell on hard things. Think about hard truths. Tell people what you believe. Think about it. Dwell on it. Use your brain to think and discover truth. And when you find that truth, fight for it. Peace out.